Hello, everybody, and welcome into this second trailer or sneak peek into the Exit Lane podcast. I'm Jason. It is Saturday, December the 11th, and we are 2 weeks from Christmas. Have you done any of your Christmas shopping? I've already done some of mine. See, I'm a go-getter. Actually, no, I'm not. I was just at Walmart and saw something my son wanted and, splurged and got it. Get something off the checklist. So we're 2 weeks from Christmas. We're 3 weeks from the first of the year. We're 3 weeks from New Year's Day. And that means we are 3 weeks from the launch of the Exit Lane podcast. Please subscribe. This is a big trailer. Because I kind of altered my plans a little bit. You're going to get kind of a mini show in this trailer. So if you listen to the last trailer, and if you didn't, go listen to it. There's information in there that you're probably wondering about. I'm going to kind of go off script a little bit. I got 3 things I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on the college football playoff. Did they get it right? I'm going to answer that in a few minutes. Or I'm going to give you my opinion on it. So let's jump in. So let's get to what I want to update you on. And then we'll get to the college football playoff. So here's another change I made. Obviously, last week I announced you can find this podcast on YouTube. And I said there's 3 platforms you're going to be able to find this podcast on. Well, actually, if you count the website, because remember, folks, the website, I'm releasing the website New Year's Day also. So you've got the website and you've got YouTube. I plan to only release one more platform today, but I'm going to go ahead and name the 2 other platforms that you're going to be able to find this podcast on. The first platform, drum roll please, I don't have any drums. The second platform, or I guess the third, depending on how you count the website and YouTube, is Spotify. I'm excited to have it on Spotify. The link will be on my Twitter page. Obviously, it'll be on the website. So, if you see me on Twitter, I'll put it down in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on YouTube. I don't remember my Twitter handle at the moment. So I will get that to you next week for anyone who is listening who is interested in finding me on Twitter. So I apologize for that. That's very embarrassing. I think it's Exit Lane something. I don't think I put it under my name, but anywho. So yeah, so if you're listening on Spotify, or if you have a Spotify account and you enjoy podcasts, go ahead and hit that follow button for me. And by the way, if you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that follow button for me. And remember, y'all, I'm not going to say a whole lot, but on New Year's Day, when the show officially drops, we're going to talk about a giveaway. And part of that giveaway is going to be you being subscribed either on YouTube or Spotify. Alright? So go ahead. I need your support. Like I said last week, please. YouTube, Spotify, hit the follow buttons now. So now we know we've got the website coming New Year's Day. You can find me on YouTube and you can find me on Spotify. The last platform that you're going to be able to find this podcast on, or at least for now, is Anchor. So if you're listening to this on Anchor, I know Anchor is a little bit different than Spotify and YouTube, but if there's a follow button, hit it. Go ahead and do it. Do it now so you don't forget. Again, this show is going to be released every Saturday, 12 o'clock Central Time. So there you go, folks. So a quick recap. We got the website dropping New Year's Day. You can listen to me on YouTube. You can listen to me on Spotify and on Anchor. So please, if you enjoy podcasts, I need your support. I love you. Do it. Nothing's stopping you. Alright, so that takes care of that. The second thing I wanted to address is if you listen to this podcast on YouTube, and if you listen to it on Anchor or Spotify, you're going to notice something. You're going to notice different music. And the reason for that is really simple. YouTube has different copyright-free music than what Spotify does. So just on my end, since I'm at this point, I'm basically a one-man operation. To make it easier on me, it's just easier for me when I upload it to YouTube to use their music, and when I upload it to Anchor and Spotify, use their music. It just, it just makes my life a little bit easier. So if you ever listen to this podcast on YouTube and then listen to it on Anchor and Spotify, if you'll notice, you're going to hear different music. And if you're wondering why that is, well, now you know why. So there you go. So now the college football playoff. Did the playoff committee get it right? And I gotta say, I love friendly debate. I love it to death. That's part of the reason why I've been told by friends I should start a podcast, because evidently I have a big mouth and like to talk. I get accused of being argumentative. I don't think I'm argumentative. I just enjoy friendly debate. And last Saturday, I had friendly conversations with people on Twitter all day long. But some of the takes on the college football playoff, watching people's opinions or reading people's opinions on Twitter, has been comical to me. First, let's establish what the CFP, the committee, what they're tasked to do. They are tasked to get the 4 best teams in the playoff and then rank them 1, 2, 3, 4. That is their job. That is what they're tasked to do. And it does not matter, contrary to other people's opinions, it does not matter if those teams are in the same conferences. I saw people wanting to use the NFL as an example of this. The Packers and the Bears are in the same division, and the Packers and the Bears have played each other in the playoffs. So that's a bad comparison for the point I'm fixing to get to, because people were trying to make that comparison. If you've been living under a rock, here's how the playoff committee had it. They had Cincinnati at number 4. They dropped Georgia to number 3. They held Michigan at number 2, and Alabama was number 1. Now, reading people's comments on Twitter, here's where generally everyone agreed. Everyone was fine with Cincinnati at number 4. Everyone was fine with Georgia falling to number 3. What people were upset about, what seemed to be the biggest gripe is Michigan State at 2 and was leapfrogged by Alabama at number 1. And people's logic to me was hilarious, because people's logic was a very defeatist attitude. Well, now we're going to have another all-SEC championship game. They should have made Alabama 2 and Georgia 3 and moved Michigan to number 1. But then, so if you, and let me say this just to be clear, if you honestly believe Georgia is the if Michigan is the number 1 team in the country, fine. I don't have a problem with that. If you believe Georgia or Michigan, I'll get this right here in a minute. If you believe Michigan is the number one team in the country, great. But here's what people would say next. They would say that Alabama and Georgia is going to play for the title. But wait a minute. You just said Michigan was the best team in the country. So now you're contradicting yourself. In one breath, you said Michigan was the number one team in the country and should be the number one seed in the playoff, but then you're turning around and predicting them to lose to Georgia? Well, that doesn't make any sense. It is not the college football playoff committee's job to keep two SEC teams from playing each other. If Alabama and Georgia are the two best teams in the country, and from what I saw on Twitter, 98% of people are predicting Alabama and Georgia to win their playoff games, because that's what they're upset about, is two SEC teams playing for the title again. It is not the committee's job, because other teams aren't good enough to beat them, is to pair Alabama versus Georgia so they can beat each other. And that's what people on Twitter were wanting, and that is a take I 100% disagree with. That is not what the playoff is designed to do. You want to use another NFL example? Let's use an NFL example. By that same logic, during the Patriots run, their dynasty, I didn't hear people online saying, well, even though the Patriots have the best record in the NFL, they should be the 6th seed. No one said that, because it's absurd. In my opinion, and I don't even agree with the college football rankings. There's two teams I think they missed on. And if you're an SEC hater, then you're really going to hate what I'm fixing to say. The way I have it, they got Cincinnati right. I would have had Cincinnati at number 4. Now, get ready. I would have dropped Michigan. I know they won Big Ten champions. They're a great team. They've had a great season. I don't mean this disrespectful towards Michigan. But I would put Michigan 3rd. I would put Georgia 2nd. And I would have Alabama at number 1. Now, for anyone who gets upset by that, think about it. If you stop and think about it, 2 and 3 doesn't really matter. In my rankings, Michigan and Georgia still play each other. So I still have the same matchups. I just have Michigan and Georgia transpose. Because I think, and this is just my opinion, I think Georgia is a better football team than Michigan. I think Georgia beats Michigan. But I think it's a close game. I think it's a very close, low-scoring game. In terms of Alabama-Cincinnati, I think Alabama wins by 3 touchdowns. I don't think there's much to talk about in that game. But y'all, and second point. For the people out there who are mad that the College Football Playoff Committee didn't have Alabama at 2 and Georgia at 3 so they could play each other, so that way 2 SEC teams don't play for the title. Here's my other point. Y'all, I live in Arkansas. I live in the heart of SEC country. And I can tell you this, down here in the South, there is not a team in the SEC, the team or their fan base, that has that defeatist attitude. Arkansas has not beat Alabama in football since 2006. And I can tell you this, living in Arkansas, every year, no matter how bad the Razorbacks have been, and they've been pretty bad up until Sam Pittman got here, but every year, Arkansas and this fan base, we believe this is the year we beat Bama. Every year. And every team in the SEC, the football team and the fan base, it doesn't matter to them who they're playing. They're going to win that game. And the SEC, with the exception of maybe Vanderbilt, But every team down here, the team and their fan base, that's the attitude they have. Clearly in the Big Ten and around other conferences, fan bases aren't so confident in their teams. And that's disappointing. Because I can tell you this, if I'm on Michigan's football team, and if I'm reading this stuff on Twitter or in the paper about how Michigan got screwed because now they have to play Georgia and they're going to lose, if I'm a Michigan football player, I'm a little bit pissed off by that. I can tell you this, Michigan fans, especially Cincinnati fans, since you've got to play Alabama, go talk to Alabama fans. Go talk to that football team. Do you think they care who they have to play in the first round? Do you think it really matters to Alabama if they were the 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed? The thing I respect most about Nick Saban is he speaks quietly, but he carries a big stick. That's what I love about Nick Saban. It's just, those comments to me, that philosophy is just so disappointing. And here's a thought, Michigan fans, Big Ten fans, if you don't want 2 SEC teams to play for the title, why don't you start beating SEC teams? What about that? Instead of hating Alabama and Georgia and hating the SEC, why don't your conference start beating these teams? Then you wouldn't have 2 SEC teams playing for the title. What about that idea? Quit having such a defeatist attitude. Y'all, that's all I've got. Let's wrap this thing up. I appreciate you listening. As far as the CFP goes, if you disagree with me, again, tune in next week. I'm going to get you my Twitter page, or if you see me on Twitter, follow me. All the links to Anchor and Spotify and YouTube, I'm going to put down in the description on YouTube. To find this podcast on YouTube, all you got to do is type in the Exit Lane Podcast, and it'll pop up. So I appreciate you listening. If you disagree with me, comment down below. Let's have a friendly debate about it. If you see me on Twitter, let's talk about it. Tell me why you agree with me, or tell me why you disagree with me. So guys, again, we're 2 weeks away. Merry Christmas. I'll talk to you on New Year's Day, so I'm not wishing you a Happy New Year yet. Y'all have a good one, and I will talk to you next week.